Hi, I'm Emma and this is Mikela and we're the national winners of Australia's Research Got Talent.
Across the world, we are seeing an unprecedented surge in youth vaping. It's a growing epidemic that we don't anticipate slowing down anytime soon. Both Em and I are on the cusp of Gen Z, and we in our own lives have seen how vaping has just exploded in this age group, with some of our friends and broader social circles having all engaged with it in one way or another. And we know from previous research we've done that Gen Z are drinking less, they're exercising more, they care about their mental health and well-being. So what is it about vaping that's getting past all their defences?
So why is such a health-conscious generation embracing vaping at an unprecedented rate?
We partnered with the Alcohol and Drug Foundation in Australia. The ADF is Australia's national and leading organisation committed to preventing and minimising harm caused by alcohol and drugs. The ADF are a non-for-profit that both of us have worked with in the past, and they like to look at the broader landscape of alcohol and drugs.
Vaping has become ADF's biggest concern for this age group, and with the fast-growing rate of adoption, minimising harm has become increasingly difficult for them. They're now looking for ways to best educate young people and minimise harm through their messaging. They're currently at the early stages of creating vaping-based campaigns and have solely been focused on health education so far. However, the rates of vaping are continuing to increase, so they need another way to cut through with this age group.
In our research, we were able to understand the drivers, triggers and influences that actually encouraged or allowed Gen Z to engage with and continue vaping. So through our research design, we tried to think outside of the box to make sure that we're really getting the full picture of what drives Gen Z. We experimented with some more innovative methods that would really resonate more effectively with this audience. So we conducted a 3-phase approach.
So starting wide, we completed a quantitative study using conversational AI, which allowed us to size drivers, triggers and occasions that led people to vaping, but also gave us qualitative richness through AI-enabled open-ended probing. This method meant that our participants could share their attitudes and experiences anonymously, openly and honestly, without any fear of stigma or judgment, which was really important to us when designing our research around a somewhat controversial or sensitive topic.
Next, we conducted a semiotic decoder of vaping culture online to understand the underlying narratives, symbols and tone of voice that Gen Z are exposed to and engaging with. Again, going back to our own exposure when it comes to vaping, we've seen a lot of really interesting conversations online. We've seen it being made light of on social media and being shown as a much more trendy and acceptable option compared to other substances. We've even seen viral TikToks of people making fun of their friends reacting badly to losing a vape. It's all fun and lighthearted, but we keep asking ourselves, would that be the same response if a bottle of vodka was what they were searching for?
And finally, our third stage is what we called ethnographic hangouts. So for this part, we asked a group of 3 to 4 friends to meet us in a place of their choice to talk to us about vaping. We wanted to make sure we met participants in their natural social environments where they're comfortable to make sure we got authentic and real perspectives. Having their friends with them made it a natural and easy environment for them to share.
Our research revealed really deep and rich insights when it comes to youth vaping. So firstly, health and well-being is incredibly important to them, but they actually have a broad definition of what this looks like in their life. Their view of health is a holistic and all-encompassing, not just physical well-being, but also mental, emotional, social, and even spiritual health. Ultimately, they're trying to achieve balance, which means they're open to some permissible indulgence, knowing that it's okay to let loose occasionally without being too hard on themselves.
So when it comes to vaping, they're hearing the messages being sent to them about the health-related risks, but there's also a lot of social factors at play that outweigh these messages. We know from our research that social influence is the #1 driver of vaping amongst this age group, followed by curiosity. We found that vaping acts as social currency and lets them feel part of the group. So whilst they know that vaping isn't good for their physical health, it's playing other roles in fulfilling aspects in their definition of health, like social well-being.
There are also a lot of intangibles when it comes to vaping. Unlike cigarettes, where they can physically gauge how many they've had and know the impact of each, they don't have that same reference point with vaping. They're not really keeping track of how many puffs they're having, and even if they were, they don't really know what this means in terms of nicotine dosage. They're also not confronted with any short-term effects like they are with other substances.
When alcohol, sure, it's bad for you. We all know that. So we do it anyways. And we're like, oh my God, I wish I didn't drink so much last night because I embarrassed the fuck out of myself. But with vaping, you just live and you just hit it and it's just good and there's no consequence. And you're just like, probably shouldn't, going to anyways.
And finally, and quite importantly, they don't have any parameters or reference point of what problematic vaping looks like. They have a clear picture of what addiction in alcohol or drugs looks like and how they deal with this. But when it comes to vaping, there isn't an understanding of when vaping has gone too far, and instead it's treated with a blasé and humorous attitude. Ultimately, they don't recognise the severity of what's happening.
Already we've been able to dispel myths and provide clarity about the real challenge in addressing Gen Z vaping. These have been brand new insights that ADF haven't been able to get, and from this we've identified key paths forward to help ADF better tackle youth vaping.
Start the journey to reframe vaping as uncool and cringe.
Highlight the tangible consequences of vaping in the shorter term that don't rely on long-term health studies. For example, you can be less fit than friends, you can get bad teeth, bad skin, or heightened anxiety.
Help get Gen Z to recognise and identify problematic vaping behaviour. It's not just a teen in their dark and dingy room or a teen obsessed with toys. It can be the fit, social and responsible people who are ignoring these bad habits.
The research also revealed a real need for more bespoke paths to recovery for young people in vaping. Relying on traditional cigarette programs aren't really addressing the unique experiences for Gen Z.
We believe that the insights and methodology of this project can have huge potential and be applied globally. We know the challenges like this don't happen in a vacuum. The US, UK and EU are all seeing the same rise of vaping behaviours across young adults.
We've seen other health issues face the same challenges. However, the unique challenge with vaping is that the adoption is far surpassing the rate of government legislation, education and NGO messaging. The strategies that worked for cigarette and tobacco messaging took years to develop, but based on the uptake for Gen Z, we don't have that kind of time. Vaping is growing at an exponential rate and our project can be the catalyst for change.